you would like to do, and what you like to try, how much you need to pay. But when you become the manager, all the price that you listed there is not the number, like, okay, I think that's a good number. It never be that way. You should, then we will do a practice. It should be a number that you do a marketing survey. For example, with that college students gym, you can do a survey in this campus because every one of you are the potential customer. You can ask, how much are you willing to pay on a monthly base? Or if I have all the choice, like 1 month for $7.99, 1 year for $6.99, and then 2 years for $16.99, and which one would you go for? After you do a quick survey, you will pick up the most popular one. Or you can even ask, are you going to pay, like leave a blank, say how much are you going to pay for our facility? I need to let them know, hey, we have this training, we have this medical program, we have yoga classes, how much are you willing to try it, okay? I think one of the very famous company in Taiwan, they start with the restaurant business. I shared with another class actually, that's why I was hesitate a little bit. So that company, they use one kind of strategy for their pricing. They do a survey. So they ask around, like, how much are you willing to pay for this product or service? After they do the survey, maybe, for example, taking this class, you are willing to pay $1,000 per time, okay? And I said, okay, I'm going to get like 20% off. So I will just charge you for $800. But because most of you think that you are willing to pay $1,000, when I offer $800, would you like to try? I think probably you would. And then you will feel, okay, it's worth it because it's less than what you expect. But 20% off, it's not, I might not lose money. Of course, I need to calculate. I would know, like, okay, even the school, before we open the school, we even do a calculation. We calculate how many students I need to collect in order to make profit. This is a private university. Other than the government fund, and of course, the tuition, is important. So we do a balance to see how many students we will be needing in order to survive, Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but the number is not so high. Maybe, I don't know the exact number actually, but they calculate all that. So their bottom line is, I want to make sure I can collect more students than this bottom line. One more person than this bottom line, I'm starting to make profits. Of course, this is a company. Remember I said the business, they try to maximize the profits, right? So say maybe they think 1,000 students is good enough for the whole campus and they will start to make profits. They would take as many students as possible. Okay, there's no limits, okay? So ideally, that should be that way. But school is another example though, because the education bureau, they would give you some limitation, saying that you cannot take as many as possible. Otherwise, all the private school, they don't care about the quality. They'll just get as many students, they can. And that's not how you ensure the quality of education. That's another story. With the club, very similar way though. We know how much money we can start to make profit. There's always a turning point, the balance, So you need to get, that certain amount of money, and every single additional one that you recruit, that's extra money, okay? But of course, you cannot get as many as possible because all the facility, all the room that you provided to a customer, there's a limitation, there's a capacity. When you go more, the customer are going to complain. Like it takes forever to go to, use the sauna, use the gym, all that. The other day I went to a hotel, and of course they have a club in their hotel properties. I went there and I take a look. I decided not to use their facility because they only have they have a hot spring, but I think their hot spring maximum you can only say 4 people. And during the COVID, even 4 people is very crowded, and they have a very small sauna room. So I start to think, if they really sell this one for their club, how can they make a living? How can people not complain about their service? But because it's a hotel, so maybe not too many people go and use it, and then so they are okay over there. But they need to make sure they have a clock. So if you have, the customer want to choose a club, you still have the choice that you can join the club over there. Okay, so making a decision is important. And who are making a decision for the club? Actually, it will be the future you, right? So who are involved? The authorities. Okay? The authority might be the founder of the club, maybe the general manager of the club, or the stockholder of the club. Okay? And then a lot of time is the majority. Okay? The majority of the customer. Sometimes can be minority. Like maybe you need to have some equipment for the handicapped. Even they are minority, but they have the needs, you still need to make sure your facility is friendly for the handicapped users, right? So minority can sometimes choose how the private clubs looks like. And of course you can do like a survey to understand the population, to understand most of the customers' needs, right? And then you can ask from the membership. This is what we do with all kind of customer survey. Okay. So one thing, I think all of you take the class of research methods, right? Not yet. Okay. So this is one of the. It's the same thing like why you are going to do research. So research, don't think research is only for academic. For marketing, we do a lot of research. We want to find out why people will go to this club. It doesn't look anything special. Why they would choose another luxury club, even they are so expensive. Why is that? I think recently Kaohsiung has a lot of COVID cases, and they got COVID because they go to a private club. I'm very curious what kind of club they went, but they didn't release the name, and I'm very, very curious. But I know they wouldn't tell us which private club, and I know they wouldn't. Okay, so for those people who go to a private club, you can imagine who are the customers, right? Business people, and someone in the political field, you know, maybe some gangsters, right? Wouldn't be common people like us, so they would not tell you. But it tells us, even in a city like Kaohsiung, we do have some private clubs, okay? And the kids, they spread out because, from the saxophone player. This saxophone player, they went to this private club. And this saxophone player should also work in different clubs. Okay? So those kind of clubs, they are not open to public. They are only open for certain group of people. Okay? So focus group. Have you seen the new movie of Batman? Yeah, yes. You go and see. Okay. So oftentimes you went to this club, they have 2 bodyguards. It means it doesn't open to all the public. You need to identify yourself. Okay? So those are the club is there. You probably sometimes you don't have to really pay for the membership, but they would have this kind of rule that they have very high cover fees. Like you sit on this table, you need to order maybe $10,000 per dinner per time. So in order to qualify sitting there, so by how much you pay, it limits your customer who can go there. And of course, they will have some private lunch. So whatever shown in the movie, that's a real case, you know, for those private clubs. Club serve the function, as we mentioned, social life. You are providing a place for the people to deal with the business over there. It can be the business people, it can be the political people, you know. So they all, when they're politicians, you know. So that's how it works. Anyway, so when you are doing the survey, you want to know how the members are thinking about your club. We can use this kind of research methods. The first one, focus group. Do you know what is focus group?
Yes.
What's that? You need to be focused.
Put it together and 3 to 10 people.
Wow, impressed. Okay.
Interview them and then ask them several questions together.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what we do with the focus group. So that's also like an interview. But the interview most of the time is one-to-one interview, in-depth interview, ask questions and dig out the information you want. Focus group, you can be, you know, for a small group of people, you will not ask so many questions like the in-depth interview one-to-one, but you can get information as a group, and then you can get much information. But the disadvantage of this, if I ask you one question, I say, how much are you going to pay for Tesla? Okay, you mentioned $10,000, and then what you were about to think that maybe that's the price that I say too low. It cannot prove that I'm rich. And since he is rich, she's like, I'm going to offer 50,000. Okay, and maybe she's not that rich, but she wants to grab him like, okay, I'm qualified to pay that. So when you are doing a focus group, because you have other participants over there, so you might have this kind of bias that you will affect other people's answer, and then you try to answer in a very good way. You wouldn't tell people, yeah, I did shit, in the club, or something like that. So your answer tend to be very nice and positive. When then we really get to the reality, it might not be necessary. Okay, the focus group is good in a way that I can gather a lot of information compared to the one-to-one interview. Okay, and then you can do a survey. Survey is like a questionnaire. You have a bunch of questions, and then you can ask like, how much you agree with this, from 1 to 5, 1 to 7, or 1 to 10. So after they answer all this question, you can calculate how much they want to have it. Okay. Points of purchase. Point of purchase, like you ask question at the points of they buy this product. So we see that a lot, like when we are about to pay at the restaurants. After you eat, you go there and pay, and the staff will ask you, how was your meal? How was the service today? There was a collection of opinions at the cashier. What they try to do is they want to get feedback from you. Wang Ping, I think the name is Wow Prime, right? Wang Ping's company, yeah, Wow Prime. Okay, so that company, they are one of the first one of the first group who do this kind of points of purchase survey. So every time after you finish your meal, they will give you like a very small survey, and they will ask you how do you feel about your service, how do you feel about the products, and they always did a good job. Like you write something either positive or negative. But by the time you pay, they will have a manager to explain to you, like, okay, sorry about this bad service. It was because of this and this. And thank you for writing such a good comments, and please come back again. Okay? They didn't try to embarrass you or anything, but they have this idea. They don't want to have the customer to walk away with the negative emotions. So if you have some comments, you have some negative feelings about their service, they want to have someone to explain to you right there, so you wouldn't leave with anger or even post something negative on social media or give them a very bad Google review. They try to prevent it from happening. Okay, so that company is one of the pioneers in this. So that also tells you when you look at the Google review, you can only trust half and half. Some of the Google review, we wouldn't write very nasty one because we feel like, okay, it's not nice, or they already say something to me and they already explain, I shouldn't give them a hard time, things like that. But point of purchase, that's another important things that you should do. Online, you can do an online survey, which is more popular right now. Everyone has the app, you have your smartphone, you can do the online survey all the time. So now you go to a restaurant or you go to a club, they have a QR code, easier for you to scan and participate with their surveys. Then sometimes the club will send you a newsletter. They want to tell you what kind of new events going on with their club. I went to the gym. I've joined the gym for many years. But every month they would change their yoga class. They would change their schedule. Before they used to print out their club newsletters, and they print it out and put it on the cashier or the front desk. So every time you go, every month you go, you grab a piece of paper, and then we never collect that. We just, because it's free, we just pick up the paper, we read it, we throw it away. Now the companies realize it. They ask you to add their line. So every month they just send you the new schedule. So they don't even bother to print out, those kind of things. They can save some money for printing and environmental friendly. Other than that, they can actually give you the most recent news, most recent or updated information regarding to the club. Okay, today we are out of the electricity, so the club is closed. Or such and such yoga teacher is sick today, so there is no more class. Things like that. So those are becoming the new tools for the club to communicate with the customers. Now the last part is important. When was the last time you write something on the comments cards? Would you write anything on the comments card?
Thank you.
Oh, you're right, thank you. When will you write on the comment cards?
Nothing.
When?
When you are feeling disappointed.
Okay. Okay, only 2 occasions you write. Either you are very, very satisfied with the service. We write something like thank you. Okay? But unless we are or that guy was very good looking in the service. I know it's our girl. Okay? But other than that, I don't think we'll write some good comments just because I'm so happy with the service. But if you are very upset with the service, even when it's regular upset, we might not write a comment. So we'll be super angry. So we want to make something that make sure the manager hear that. So we'll write a comments. Okay. It happens to me and my sister the other day. We were in the high-speed rail. We are not late. We're like there 5 minutes earlier. But because we buy the tickets together, so my sister was buying the tickets. And in order to transfer the e-tickets to me, you need to go to Line and transfer. It's not like you log into the high-speed rail app and then put your reservation number, things like that. So it takes us a while, the whole time from house to the station, trying to figure out it doesn't work. So when we get there, we ask the staff, like, can you help us to do that? He looked at us and like, okay, it's not difficult. And so he wasn't too helpful. And then the time was, passing, we say, hurry up, we need to go and catch the train. He said, oh, it's too late, So he literally didn't let us go. As a result, we had to wait for another 1 hour. So my sister was so angry. He went and get a comments card and just write down, okay, because of this poor service, then we need to wait for another hour, which is not the attitude. But you need to get to the point, very, very disappointed. In order to bother yourself, get a comments card and write it down, okay? But because of my sister doing this, I also see how the high-speed rail dealing with a complaint like this. They are also very smart. Well, most of the time, okay, imagine if you write a comments card. Who are you going to give a comments card to? Are you going to give back to the staff that you are complaining about? No way, we're not going to do that. And then if I go to, maybe the manager or the Dropbox, okay? But again, they are not sure if the Dropbox, if I'm the manager of Kaohsiung Station, I don't want to get any negative comments, so they report to the central office. So I might check the the complaint box. If I see something bad, I'll just toss it away. Or I just have some internal discussion and go ahead. So I see this high-speed rail. That's why they can be so successful with their business. What they did, they have this, complaint later, but they already put all the stickers. All you need to do is forward it, and they don't want you to put back to the comments box. You cannot find any comment box in the train station. They ask you to put in the post office. Okay? And they will mail back to the Taipei office, so the center one would read it, and then if something wrong, maybe with Jiayi, with Taichung, and they will take care of it. Okay, so that's one of the way they maintain the good quality of the service, and then make sure all the comments, good one or the bad one, even the thank you notes, can go through the company instead of just toss it away somewhere. Okay, so if you pay attention to all these details, some of the business, they will be so successful for a reason. It's not just happen like that, okay? Of course, if they don't think ahead of time, probably those comments will never get a review, okay? But again, you need to have a very, very unhappy customer in order to get a comments card, okay? So you better just to solve the problem instead of, that person can write some negative comments over there, right? So, if you are the general manager of the club, after I explain this, which one would you tend to use? Which kind of survey, or how do you get the membership input? Which one will you use? You would do a point of purchase. Okay. How many of you will use point of purchase? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How many of you will use a focus group? Nobody? Okay. How about the club survey? Okay. Yeah, it's a good method as well. Online survey. Okay. Club newsletter. How about comments cards? Okay. Then nobody tell you that you cannot use a combination of everything, okay? So you can use a combination of everything, depends on what is easier for the customer, okay? Maybe some of the customers, they don't know how to use the smartphone, just scan the QR code and do the online survey. The old-fashioned one, probably they would like to do this comment cards, okay? So that's why we try to collect information from everywhere. And there's reason why we want to do the club survey. Of course, the first one is we want to persuade the members to buy the products, or we want to persuade the potential members to join the club. So most of the club, like Telsa, they think about this way, and then I also think about the gym club. They say the member, either you can invite your friends and family to use it, or this one is very unique. You can share by 2 people. So when you share by 2 people, you probably can also invite your friends to go there, so you can expand your market. Okay? And then after they try the service, you can ask them to do a survey, and you get their feedback. Try to persuade them. Remember, I explained to you that I went to this, holiday club to try their hotel, and they try to sell the membership to me. Okay, so I stay there. The strategy is always it's like 4 days package, and then you go there, stay there for the first day, the second day. You probably is there. You need to listen to a presentation. During the presentation, they will try to sell, and then you will tell them what's the reason you don't want to buy you don't want to become the members, and they will start to persuade you. Okay, you think this is too expensive. How about I cut into half price? Okay, you think 10,000 points is too much. How about I just sell it for 5,000? Okay, you don't like to come to Las Vegas. How about we go to Ubud in Indonesia? Okay, so they will just give you different reasons to encourage you to join their members. Okay, so they need to do the survey, what you like the most, what you dislike the most, and they try to be persuasive. Okay, they wouldn't let you go easily. Because every single customer, they finally attract you to come and use the club. They spend a lot of money with your promotions. Okay, the YouTuber, the collaboration with other dating club or other kind of club, or even to use a lottery. And that one, you also use different kind of promotion strategy. After you do that, finally you get one customer to come. Of course, you want that customer to become your members as well, right? And then you also want to know how can you make your service better. Why they don't like your service, or why they like your service. You want to create a better program for people to use. We also see the changes of the customer. Okay, in the old days, the traditional customer, maybe they are just happy that they have a place to hang out, to take shower, to eat. But now the younger generation, like you guys, you will get bored very easily. If I just give you the same kind of service, same kind of products, maybe you don't want to renew your membership next time. Or because you don't have this, long-term plan, like where you are going to stay, where you are going to work. So if I'm going to sell you for this lifetime membership, it's no longer popular. In the old days in Taiwan, most of the people, they don't think they will travel or they will live abroad. So they will be like, okay, sure, I'll pay for the lifetime members. Now if I ask you, how many of you are going to pay for a luxury club for a lifetime? The answer might be no, because you don't know if Taiwan is a place you are going to work, or even back home. You might go to other country and live there for a couple of years. I know some of you are going to England. Maybe you will never come back to Taiwan again, right? So you never know. And this is what we have been changing with the global trends. They have a lot of changes. You might be the international workforce yourself. Okay? And the last part you want to do a survey is you really want to understand the members' behavior. And that is very close to the other course that I have, customers' behavior. You need to analyze different customers. They do have their preference and they do have their expectation. So when they come to choose a club, they also have their own expectation. They want to have a special service. They want to make sure that their privacy is there. It's not like a business that you open to everyone, and that should be the nature of the club. Okay? So when you have this, club survey, you need to decide what is the purpose for you to do a survey. Either you want to ask about their quality, or you want to, ask about the customer satisfaction, and then you are going to choose the time limits. The survey is not going to last forever. It should be like maybe you conduct a survey for 1 month, okay? And then you wouldn't do like every month, every day you are doing that. And then you need to have a plan, like how often you are going to do the survey. Your membership wouldn't change too much, maybe every few years. Or if you want to do a good job, asking about how satisfied they are with their menu choice, maybe you can do it once a year, just to know their feedback. Okay? And then you are going to decide who is the target audience to participate in your survey. And then, of course, you are going to decide a method of data collection and analysis. By saying that, is a focus group, or a survey, or even the online survey that we mentioned earlier. Okay. Now the last point. You get all the answers. You know what the people might like or might dislike. After you know the result, what are you going to do? Are you going to create a brand new program? Or are you going to add something new? Gogoro, even Gogoro has a club. But you don't have to really pay extra for the Gogoro club. Gogoro already choose their members. For those people who own the Gogoro, they would choose to become they would sign up for their newsletters or click their fan page on the Facebook. So those Gogoro users, they have different areas, Kaohsiung, Taichung, Taipei. So they would have some call out. Okay, today we are going to continue for a trip. Whoever is available, we can ride a Gogoro together. We go there as a trip. Okay, so they kind of choose their members. You need to be a Gogoro owners in order to join this kind of events. Of course, whoever go, you just pay for your own your expenses. Okay, but that's actually chosen by the brand, the product that you are using. The other motorcycle users, they cannot use it. Then this is also important. When we do any kind of survey, we need to know what is in the market. Okay, so yachts club in Kaohsiung, I think there's only one yachts club. And this yachts club, Argo Yachts Club, they have one base in Tainan, and they also have a facility in Kaohsiung. Okay, but they don't have anything in Taipei and other cities. Okay, but do they have another yachts club in Taiwan? I think we still have maybe 2 or 3 more around Taiwan. So they need to do some competitive analysis, like what make people choose Argo Yachts Club than others. But if you look around, you should not just compare with companies in Taiwan. The closest one about yachts will be Xiamen. It's so close by, by airplane will be like 1 hour. And then if you are a big fan of sailing, you will know Xiamen is also very similar to Kaohsiung. They have a harbor. And the plan was like, okay, you can sail around the border between the land and the ocean anyway. So when Kaohsiung started to do this yachts business, Xiamen said, okay, we also are about to do this, yachts industry. And they, like in China, they can rebuild everything so fast, okay? So in no time, they built a brand new harbor for the yachts. And it's also very, very fancy, so it attract a lot of yachts owner to sell there. And then compared to Xiamen, Kaohsiung is kind of slow, relatively. So now they get more business. So if you are going to join the members, since these two cities are somehow close to each other, even they belong to different countries, but if you are, if you travel more in China, maybe you wouldn't join the club in Kaohsiung. Unless, you are wealthy enough and you don't mind to join the club everywhere, yeah, of course you can have both of them. Or these two yachts company, they can do this kind of joint venture. They can work together as a strategic partner. Whoever has the Argo yachts, you can also use a facility in Xiamen. They work very well. So the same thing we apply to several styles of the club. Let's see, one of the, have you heard about the Bean Spot Club? Okay, so like that one, they are not everywhere. That's actually owned by the president company, 统一企业. So a big company like that, they are also involved with the club business. But they used to have more club business, this kind of gym, spa is one of them. They have another club, it's a resort club. They only have maybe 5 around Taiwan. You need to be, before you need to be members in order to use it. Either you are the members of the club or you are the employees of the president company, okay? But now because the facility get old, they have hard time to attract even their own employees to go there. So now they are open to public, so they no longer being a club. But this Bean Spa is one of the clubs they are still running. But they are very choosy for which location they have their club. So they only pick up the big cities like Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung. I don't think they have one in Tainan. Okay? But even in Kaohsiung, they only have 2 branches. And then they start to come out with the idea, okay, I have 2 branches in Kaohsiung, but I want to make sure I can charge different price. Okay, so if you only sign up for one location, maybe they charge you $1,500. Okay, but they say if you are going to use the same membership card, every club in Taiwan, maybe you need to pay $2,000 per month. That will work perfectly for the business people or the travelers. If they travel around Taiwan, they don't have to limit themselves to the Kaohsiung location. They can use the same membership card and use everywhere in Taiwan. Okay, but of course in that case, they will ask you to pay a little bit higher because you are paying for the convenience that you are using, and they will be able to sell it. But if you are the person who have been living in Kaohsiung and you don't travel much, or even if when you travel, would you go to the particular club to use? Otherwise, you can just choose one location, and the price should be lower compared with the location that you can use everywhere. Okay, and then you can also do a survey only for a particular one. Even you might be a chain club, and if you realize, certain club, a certain regional one, they get more complaints, you can only get a survey from that club to see what is going on. Okay, so the club, we have few vision with the club, and then you need to make it clear. Of course, you wouldn't write it on your vision, say we want to get rich. That would not be reason over there. But of course, making profit is one of the vision. If you lose profit, you cannot run the club anymore. But the future orientation is important. Some of the club, they make it very clear. the first one, I'm not going to open so fast. I'm going to have the first one, like try to make sure that I have enough members. That 健身工坊, I think the name is Fitness Factory. Personally, I think they did a good job with their business model. They started their first one in Kaohsiung. The headquarters is in Kaohsiung. That was run by a medical doctor's family. Okay, so they got okay financially, okay. So they opened the first one in Kaohsiung, around Kaohsiung Arena. They have very good plan. Kaohsiung Arena, near the train station, a lot of younger generation live there. If you live around the city hall, those are the old household, so the people are getting older, it's hard to change their habits. And gym club is something new that you pay to do exercise. The older generation might not think it's a good idea to pay to do exercise, but the younger one is okay. So they start their first one around Kaohsiung Arena, which has a lot of young people going shopping, doing exercise over there. So of course they make very good business. They increase a lot of members. Even a lot of professors in our school, we went to that particular fitness factory. So after they start to generate a lot of profits, now they decided they are going to, not now, from the very beginning they already know they want to start the first one, but they wouldn't expand it too fast. When they are financially more stable, they open the second one, okay? The ideal is always in Kaohsiung, one in the south part of Kaohsiung, the other one is in the north part of Kaohsiung. So most of the store, they will have 2 branches in Kaohsiung. And after they are done, they will like, okay, I think we know how to run the club. They decided to expand it to another big city. So Taipei, Taichung, maybe only just one. They wouldn't grow too fast. Again, each city also have their local brand. And you wouldn't know who is your competitors. Maybe they have very stable customers over there. In Taipei, it's even worse. You have all kinds of brands from everywhere. The small club, and then the chain club from other countries, So you need to know if you have any chance of being competitive and get more customers. Okay, and of course, maybe some of the people from Kaohsiung, or they study in Kaohsiung now, they go back to Taipei, or they move to Taipei, maybe they will decide to join the fitness factory club, okay? So they are very careful to choose which location they are going to open. And now, as I think I mentioned that earlier to you too, they think, okay, adult business is not enough. They want to target at the kids. And of course, parents pay for the kids, but they don't mind. They want to have their kids doing exercise. So they start the first club for the kids, but the adult cannot do it. They can send the kids to do exercise, or they will have some parents and children events going on in their club, but that's about it. And they are very smart to choose one location near the Kaohsiung Arts Museum. Who live in that area? Relatively wealthy people live in that area, Kaohsiung Arts Museum. Okay, so you need to be wealthy enough not just to go to the club yourself, you also want to send your kids to go to the club. Okay, so those parents, they pay the monthly fees, the membership fee to send the kids there during the exercise. They might have some trainer to be there. To me, it's like a kindergarten. You send your kids there, they do exercise, and then you can run your errands, and then you don't have to worry about the kids, and they can burn some calories, they wouldn't be like jumping around the house, send them to the gym. Okay, so that was a very good business model. And they are successful. They realize parents are willing to pay. And now they expanded to a second branch, again in Kaohsiung. Okay, and I see they do it, the third one in Fengshan. So now they expanded the kids one even faster than the regular club. They see the market, and they are successful because they see that before other companies jump into the market. The person who pay for the club is the same group of people, the parents, but they choose the different users, the kids. So they now become, and then they can have some nutrition program, what is good for the kids. The parents might not be willing to spend money for themselves, but when it comes to the kids, they don't mind. Okay, So those are the things that we see a lot of club is, becoming this kind of service, but it all depends on the vision of the club. Do you have a future plan? And then you need to know like what's the club is about, what's the purpose, where it is headed. So this factory club, they make it very clear. They want to create a healthy environment. They want to encourage people to do exercise. So when you have that vision, you shouldn't limit your customer to a certain group of people. They should also include the kids. Okay, so that's why I think this company has been very successful in this way. Very, very careful choosing the location and very smart. Earlier than others, they pick up the kids as their customer. And then they have this program like join the membership. You can do it for 1 month or you can try it twice, so you can go there and try to see how you like it, those kind of things. Right? Let's take another 10 minutes break and we